North Korea. It's a place that exists in its own little hermetically sealed snow globe of authoritarianism. But behind that veil of mystery lies a society governed by a truly baffling set of laws. So, buckle up, because today we're peeling back the layers of the Hermit Kingdom to expose some of the most unbelievable laws that govern the lives of everyday North Koreans. From mandatory haircuts to the 3 generations of punishment law, we're diving headfirst into the legal rabbit hole that is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Alright, let's kick things off with a rule that's less about legal repercussions and more about straight-up enforced reverence: the mandatory portrait law. In North Korea, every single household is required to prominently display portraits of the nation's past leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. We're talking massive, prominently displayed, can't-miss-them portraits that occupy prime real estate on the walls of every home. Not only is the presence of these portraits closely monitored, but there's also a whole government department dedicated to conducting regular inspections. Failing to display them, or, God forbid, damaging one, can have serious consequences. It's a chilling example of the level of control the North Korean government exerts over its citizens' lives, right down to the decor in their own homes. The message is clear. Big Brother isn't just watching in North Korea, he's hanging out in your living room judging your interior design choices, and you better believe he's got a strong opinion on those curtains. Alright, fashionistas, this next one's for you. Imagine a world where your wardrobe choices could land you in hot water with the government. In North Korea, those Levi's 501s you've been rocking are more than just a fashion faux pas. They're a symbol of Western influence and therefore, a threat to the very fabric of their society. The ban on Western fashion, particularly jeans, is about more than just aesthetics. By dictating what people can and cannot wear, the regime aims to stifle any form of individual expression and maintain a homogeneous, state-sanctioned look. Smuggled denim, particularly from China, has found its way into the country, creating a sort of black market for Western style. But getting caught sporting those smuggled skinny jeans can have serious consequences, including fines, imprisonment, and even forced labor. So, the next time you squeeze into those comfortably worn jeans, take a moment to appreciate the freedom of choice you have. Let's be honest, we all get the urge to travel every now and then. But for the citizens of North Korea, the very concept of international travel, even to visit family just across the border, is an almost impossible dream. The North Korean government has implemented a strict no-travel policy, essentially trapping its citizens within its borders. Leaving the country requires special permission from the government, a permission almost never granted unless you're a high-ranking official or an athlete competing on the world stage. The regime fears the corrupting influence of the outside world. There have been cases of defections, harrowing journeys across borders, often under the cover of darkness, with the constant threat of capture looming large. For the vast majority of North Koreans, the outside world exists only through smuggled foreign films, whispered stories, and the occasional glimpse of international news. It's a stark reminder of the privilege so many of us take for granted, the freedom to move, to explore, to experience the world beyond our own backyards. Okay, let's talk about hair, or more specifically, the lack of freedom when it comes to follicular expression in North Korea. Even something as personal as your hairstyle is subject to government regulation in the Hermit Kingdom. Forget about rocking the latest trends. In North Korea, you've got a grand total of 28 state-approved haircuts to choose from. Married women are essentially stuck with the same short, practical bob, while unmarried women have a few more options, although still strictly within the bounds of what the government deems acceptable. Men, on the other hand, well, let's just say that growing your hair long enough to rival Kim Jong-un's luxurious locks is a one-way ticket to a world of trouble. The government even goes so far as to plaster images of these approved haircuts on the walls of barbershops and salons, just in case anyone needs a little inspiration. And if you're thinking about going rogue and rocking a little off the approved list flair, well, let's just say the consequences can be more than a little hairy. We live in a hyper-connected world, a world where we can video chat with someone on the other side of the globe without a second thought. But in North Korea, even the simple act of making an international phone call is strictly forbidden for most citizens. The North Korean government maintains a tight grip on all forms of communication, and that includes phone calls made beyond its borders. The reasoning behind this is, you guessed it, fear. Some North Koreans have resorted to using smuggled Chinese mobile phones to make calls beyond the border, but these calls come with a hefty price tag and a significant risk. Getting caught using an unauthorized phone can result in severe consequences, including imprisonment and even accusations of espionage. Freedom of religion, a concept enshrined in constitutions and international human rights declarations around the world, is conspicuously absent in North Korea. In the Hermit Kingdom, the only faith deemed acceptable is unwavering devotion to the ruling Kim dynasty. Any other form of religious belief or practice is met with swift and often brutal suppression. Possessing religious materials, whether it's a Bible, a Quran, or even a Buddhist prayer book, is enough to land you in serious trouble with the authorities. We're talking imprisonment, torture, and in some cases, even execution. The North Korean government's attempts to eradicate religion extend beyond just physical structures and sacred texts. They've even gone so far as to rewrite history, claiming that Kim Il-sung, the nation's founder, performed miracles that surpassed those of any religious figure. Alright, let's talk about democracy, or at least the very convincing illusion of democracy that the North Korean government has meticulously crafted. On paper, North Korea holds elections, people line up, they cast their ballots, the whole 9 yards, but there's one tiny little catch: there's only ever one candidate on the ballot. In North Korea, you don't vote for who you want, you vote for who you're told to vote for. Not voting or even daring to mark your ballot in protest can have dire consequences. It's a system designed not to reflect the will of the people, but to reinforce the absolute authority of the state. The truly tragic part? Many North Koreans, particularly those who haven't been exposed to the outside world, genuinely believe that they live in a democracy. Okay folks, buckle up because this next one is a doozy. Imagine a world where your actions could have devastating consequences, not just for you but for your entire family spanning generations. That's the chilling reality of the 3 generations of punishment law in North Korea. Commit a crime against the state and you're not just punishing yourself, you're also condemning your parents, your children, and even your grandchildren to a life of hardship and persecution. The 3 generations of punishment law has been used to silence dissent, to crush any form of opposition, and to create a climate of fear that permeates every level of society. People who speak out against the government, who dare to criticize the regime, or who even attempt to flee the country, they're not just risking their own freedom, they're putting their entire family in jeopardy. It's a cruel and calculated system designed to break the bonds of family and to ensure absolute loyalty to the state. In today's interconnected world, the internet has become an indispensable tool, connecting us to information, entertainment, and each other. But for the citizens of North Korea, access to the World Wide Web is a luxury reserved for the select few. North Korea doesn't have the internet as we know it. Instead, they have Kwangmyong, a state-controlled intranet that's heavily censored and restricted. Access to the global internet is tightly controlled, limited to government officials, select researchers, and a handful of foreign embassies. For the vast majority of North Koreans, the outside world exists only through heavily censored state media and the occasional smuggled foreign film. By controlling the digital narrative, they control the minds of their citizens. Alright folks, let's talk about something we can all relate to: the sheer, unadulterated joy of mandatory fun. In the Hermit Kingdom, public displays of national pride and unwavering loyalty to the regime aren't just encouraged, they're mandatory. We're talking massive military parades, synchronized dance routines involving thousands of people, and elaborate gymnastic displays that would make Cirque du Soleil look like an amateur talent show. Citizens are expected to participate in these events with unwavering enthusiasm, whether they're feeling it or not. Skipping out on a parade or, God forbid, failing to display the appropriate level of patriotic fervor can have serious consequences. These events are about more than just entertainment. They're a carefully calculated display of power, designed to project an image of national unity and unwavering support for the regime. The scale of these events is truly staggering. It's a spectacle that's both impressive and deeply unsettling, a potent reminder of the level of control the North Korean government exerts over its citizens' lives. So there you have it, a glimpse into the strange, often disturbing, and undeniably fascinating world of North Korean law. From mandatory portraits of the dear leaders to the chilling 3 generations of punishment law, these rules and regulations paint a stark picture of a society under tight control. It's easy to look at these laws from the outside and scoff, to dismiss them as the product of a backwards and isolated nation. But it's important to remember that behind each of these rules, there are real people whose lives are profoundly impacted by them. If you found this exploration of North Korea's legal landscape as fascinating as a surprise Kim Jong-un rap album, which, let's be honest, would